You know that specific kind of paralysis you get on a Friday night?
Oh, I know it.
You've got the popcorn, you've claimed your spot on the couch, you open up Netflix or whatever, and then you just scroll.
And scroll. The tyranny of choice. It's actually exhausting.
It is. You end up watching trailers for 20 minutes, and then you just put on The Office again because you're scared of wasting 2 hours on something bad. Well, if you felt that way in 2025, you were definitely not alone. Looking back, the last year in movies was, honestly, a chaotic mess.
Chaotic is a very polite word for it. I mean, we saw these sure things, these massive billion-dollar franchises just completely implode.
Right.
And then these weird, unexpected little gems just popped up out of nowhere.
Exactly. So to save all of you from that doom scrolling, today we're doing a deep dive into a specific top 10 movies of 2025 list.
Okay.
It comes from a blogger, Greens to Rocks. And what I love about this source is that it's not some, highbrow film critic.
Right. This isn't some academic analysis. This is a proxy for the real audience. This is just someone who bought a ticket and wanted to be entertained.
Yeah, they're not talking about lighting ratios. They just want to know if the movie was boring.
Or if it rocked. So our mission is to unpack this list and figure out why the box office went so sideways last year, why the guaranteed hits failed, and why, and I am so excited to get to this, a movie with magnets and piercings was a highlight. I knew you were going to fixate on that. We will get there. But I think to understand the hits, we actually have to start with the flops.
The misses.
The blog post didn't just list the top 10. It started by clearing out the debris, the stuff that didn't make the cut.
The skip it pile.
Yeah.
And looking at this list, it's like a graveyard of huge names.
Yeah.
The biggest shocker for me, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
The Final Reckoning.
This is a huge data point. I mean, for 20 years, Tom Cruise has basically been the safety net for the entire industry.
Right. You pay your money, you see him jump off something, you go home happy.
But this review gave it a 6.3 out of 10.
A 6.3 is devastating for a franchise like that. And the word they used wasn't bad. It was boredom-inducing.
And that's the death knell. Think about that. If Tom Cruise hanging off a biplane is now boring, it means the audience's baseline for spectacle has completely changed.
We've become desensitized.
Totally. The review notes this might be the worst film in the whole franchise. It even ranked it below Mission Impossible 2.
Whoa. Below MI2. That's the one with the slow-motion devs and the bad hair.
That's the one. It's widely seen as the absolute bottom of the barrel.
Wow.
So that signals a real shift. You can't just rely on practical stunts if the story feels like it's on autopilot. The novelty is gone.
And speaking of autopilot, Jurassic Park, Rebirth.
Another one, 6.2 out of 10. And the review here was just brutal.
It was.
It introduces this concept that I think really defines 2025, the zombie franchise.
I love that term. It's like the franchise is dead, but the studio keeps reanimating the corpse because the name is valuable.
Exactly. The critique here is all about cynicism. The review says the studio is still milking that teeth. It's a graphic image.
It is, but it captures the feeling perfectly.
Yeah.
We know when we're being pandered to. Even throwing in Scarlett Johansson, one of the biggest stars alive, couldn't save it.
The review calls her delectable eye candy, which is, okay, a bit of a throwback phrase.
A little bit, yeah.
But the point is valid. You can have the most talented, beautiful people on screen, but if the movie is, and I quote, pretty dumb, the audience just checks out.
It's the law of diminishing returns on star power. A big star could open a bad movie in the 90s. In 2025, no chance. The reviewer flat out said they'd never watch it again.
And if it's one and done, the studio loses.
Big time. It wasn't just action, though. Comedy took a real hit, too. Happy Gilmore, too.
Oof. A 5.7. Truly awful.
And the Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson.
Just a 6. Totally meh.
This one hurts a little. I love Liam Neeson. I love the original.
Me too. But it feels like nostalgia is a trap.
It is. Studios think nostalgia is a genre. It's not. It's a seasoning. You can't make a whole meal out of salt,
Yeah.
Right. It just reminds you that time has passed instead of making you feel young again.
There was one more flop in this pile that I found really interesting because it wasn't a sequel. It was called Weapons.
Oh, yeah, the big horror hype movie of the year.
And this is a classic case of a film being too clever for its own good. It got a 6.3, same as Mission Impossible.
So what was the problem?
The structure.
Yeah.
The movie tells the same story 5 times from different perspectives.
See, on paper, that sounds kind of cool. Like Rashomon with, I don't know, chainsaws?
On paper, yes. In practice, according to our source, it was just poor. It created confusion. Is this a horror movie? Is it a drama? And repetition is so risky.
If you show me the same scene 5 times, that payoff better be huge.
Where it just feels like padding.
Exactly.
So the lesson from the bottom of the pile is, don't be boring, don't be cynical, and don't make us watch the same scene 5 times.
A pretty solid manifesto for Hollywood, I'd say.
All right, let's shake off the negativity. Let's get into the top 10 proper. We'll start with the middle of the pack. These are the movies that, did the job.
Didn't change the world, but you didn't feel ripped off.
Exactly. Kicking it off at rank 10 was Back in Action.
A 6.5 rating. This is the Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz reunion.
Right.
And the key word here seems to be familiarity. The review calls it a fun family adventure that's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just movie stars being charming.
It's comfort food.
It is. Unlike Jurassic Park, which felt cynical, this just felt comfortable.
Okay, rank 9 is where things get a little weird.
Exteritorial.
A German-language psychological action thriller. Scored a 6.6.
But we have to talk about the audio issue mentioned in the review.
Yeah, this was bizarre. The reviewer says there are English actors speaking English, but it was dubbed anyway.
It sounds like some kind of production nightmare. You see this sometimes in international co-productions. They film with a multilingual cast and then try to sort of unify it all in post.
Yeah, and the result is weird.
It's like the uncanny valley for your ears. The lips are moving, the words are English, but something just feels off.
And this is the surprise, it didn't kill the movie for the reviewer.
No, because the action was just that good. The review specifically shouts out Jean Gorsat and her ass-kicking sequences.
So good action can make an audience forgive a lot.
A lot of technical jankiness, for sure.
All right, speaking of visceral, rank 8, Flight Risk.
Directed by Mel Gibson, stars Mark Wahlberg. Rated 6.6.
This is one of those bottle episode movies, right? The whole thing is set inside a tiny plane.
It is, which is a really bold move. There's nowhere to hide. You can't just cut away to a car chase. It all has to be tension.
And the review calls Wahlberg very sinister.
Which is a fun change of pace for him. It's just a tight thriller. It proves that constraint can breed more creativity than a $200 million budget sometimes.
Okay, I want to jump around the list a bit to keep our themes together. Let's look at the other non-superhero films in this section. At rank 6, we had Together.
A solid 7 out of 10. Original horror.
Starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie. And the reviewer was shocked to find out they're married in real life. Wrote, "Who knew?"
I think a lot of people knew, but it's a funny point. The review calls the film creepy and disturbing. Sometimes real-life couples have no on-screen chemistry because they're too comfortable.
Right.
But here, it sounds like they weaponize that intimacy to make the horror feel more real.
It's a great contrast to Weapons, that flop we mentioned. Weapons tried this super complex structure and failed. Together, just put 2 people in a scary room and succeeded.
Simple execution beats complex ambition almost every time.
And then, sitting at rank 5, is Black Bag.
A 7.2, a sophisticated intelligence thriller.
The note that stood out to me here was that it wasn't all-out action.
And that's a crucial distinction. Marketing tries to sell every spy movie like it's John Wick.
Yeah.
But this one trusted the audience to have an attention span. It keeps you guessing to the end. It respected the viewer's intelligence, and the score reflects that.
Okay. We have to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Hulk in the room. There's been this narrative for, 5 years now, that the MCU is dead. That superhero fatigue is real.
That's the prevailing wisdom in all the think pieces, yeah.
Well, the data from Greenstocks completely disagrees. 3 of the top 10 movies on this list are superhero movies.
It suggests the fatigue isn't with the genre, but maybe with the quality we were getting for a while there.
Let's start with rank 7, Thunderbolts.
A 6.9 rating. And here's the real kicker. The reviewer admits they had no idea who any of the characters were.
Blol, as they put it.
But they still enjoyed it. They called it an enjoyable spectacle. And this is so important for Marvel. For a while, it felt like you needed a PhD in MCU lore to get what was going on.
Yeah, you had homework before you went to the theater.
Exactly. This proves that if you just make a fun movie, the general audience doesn't care if they haven't read the comic book backstory of U.S. Agent.
Okay, then we jump all the way up to rank 3. Captain America. Brave New World. Got a very solid 7.5.
This one is fascinating because it brushes right up against real-world politics. The review mentions all the internet backlash, the stick it got online about Falcon taking over.
And not having superpowers.
Right, which is a fair point.
Yeah.
If you're fighting a giant space god, A shield is nice, but super strength probably helps more.
A little more, yeah.
But the review pushes past that. It focuses on this plot point where the president turns into a big red rage monster.
Which the reviewer interpreted pretty clearly.
Yeah, they saw it as a dig at Trump, called it a bit on the nose. But, and this is the most critical part, they said they could get past that and enjoy it for what it was.
That's a huge insight. We think that if a movie gets political, half the audience just walks out. But this suggests that if the movie is entertaining enough, if it's a fun mid-tier effort, people will just kind of shrug off the subtext and enjoy the ride.
Entertainment value can trump ideology. No pun intended.
But the absolute king of the hill, the #1 movie of the year on this list, Fantastic Four, First Steps.
A 7.8 out of 10, the clear winner.
And again, our source claims they are not a complete nerd. They haven't read the comics. So why did this one resonate so hard?
I think it comes down to 2 words in the review: colorful and vibrant.
We have been living in this era of muddy, gray CGI sludge for so long.
For so long. This film is set in an alternative, stylized 60s Earth. It has an aesthetic, a personality. It's not trying to look like our world. It's trying to look like a comic book brought to life.
The review says it's maybe not a classic, but very watchable. It sounds like the bar has been raised for sheer style.
It proves audiences aren't tired of superheroes. They're tired of superheroes that look like they were filmed in a concrete parking lot. Give us color, give us style, and we'll show up.
Okay, so we've done the flops, the thrillers, the capes.
Yeah.
But we saved the best, most specific examples for last. These are the films that brought the horror and the heart. And I have to talk about rank 4 immediately. Final Destination. Bloodlines.
A 7.2 out of 10.
Can we just appreciate that a franchise that started 25 years ago is cracking the top 5? This should be a zombie franchise.
By all logic, yes. It should be in that pile with Jurassic Park. But the review calls this one fresher.
And I think I know why. It's the magnets.
Go on. Unleash your magnet enthusiasm.
The review specifically highlights a scene with piercings and magnets. Just picturing that, my skin is crawling, but I also kind of really want to see it.
And that reaction right there, that's the secret sauce. The review says it's very gruesome, but also comically funny.
They even asked, maybe there's something wrong with me for laughing so hard at it.
That is the sweet spot of this whole series. They're like Rube Goldberg machines of death. It's not mean-spirited like Saw can be. It's absurd. The universe is conspiring to kill you in the most ridiculous way possible.
It's the difference between true horror and a spook-a-blast theme park ride.
Exactly. And unlike Jurassic Park, which was dumb but took itself seriously, Final Destination knows exactly what it is. It leans into the absurdity. It invites you to laugh at the gore. And that self-awareness makes it feel fresh.
And finally,
We have rank 2, the runner-up for movie of the year, The Life List.
This is the massive outlier on the whole list. In a sea of red rage monsters and magnetic facial injuries, we have a pure drama scoring a 7.7.
The plot is so simple. A young woman is ticking off a list left by her late mother, who she hears through recordings.
It sounds like a Hallmark movie setup, but the execution was obviously on another level. The words used are warm, emotional, and thought-provoking.
It's a reminder that, amidst all the noise, we're still just people. We like to cry. We like to feel things.
It's so interesting that this beat Captain America and Mission Impossible. It shows that pure spectacle has a ceiling. Explosions only get you so far. Emotional resonance that hits a completely different part of the brain.
And the review just called it solid and engaging. It didn't need a gimmick. It just needed to be true.
It's a validation for the mid-budget drama. Hollywood has basically abandoned those movies, but this proves there's still a massive appetite for stories about people, not just about intellectual property.
So let's wrap this all up. We started this dive trying to cure our paralysis of choice. Actually, looking at the class of 2025, what's the diagnosis?
I think the diagnosis is that the lazy era is over.
The lazy era.
Yes. For a decade, studios could be lazy. They could just release a sequel with a number on it, or a reboot with a famous actor, and we would all just eat it up.
And we did.
We did. But this list proves the audience has woken up. Mission Impossible failed because it was lazy. Jurassic Park failed because it was lazy.
But the stuff that worked.
Fantastic Four worked because it made a bold stylistic choice. Final Destination worked because it leaned into its own gory, funny identity. The Life List worked because it had genuine heart.
So the lesson for us when we're standing in that movie theater lobby is to look for the effort.
Don't just pick the familiar brand name. Pick the movie that looks like it's actually trying to do something.
Look for the color. Look for a distinct voice. Or, frankly, look for the magnets.
Always look for the magnets. It seems like whether you're into stylized superheroes or emotional dramas, 2025 proved that good movies are still out there. You just have to step over the dinosaur carcasses to find them. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you at the movies.